begin it all. So welcome, welcome again to this topic that I realize that it's been really close to my heart for like over a year now. Like I want to share some of my journey with becoming nomadic and and then sort of open up the space for to explore more of like what it really might mean and what it is that you've discovered as well, or what it is you're hungry for. I realized like maybe 3 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago, that I was trying to fit my life into a way that it really wasn't working for me. It was like I would move to somewhere and I would set myself up as if I was going to live there forever, and I would like get a job and like commit to the job, and then I would notice again that I was wanting to start to leave again. I wanted to start traveling again. And I had for a long time in me this battle. It was almost like I would beat myself up around the way that I would move so easily and I could leave things so easily. And I would commit to something and then I'd stop. I wouldn't stay for as long as I said I'd stay, and then I'd just leave. And it, I realized like in me, I was carrying this impression that if if I was a good person, if I would be staying in I would be staying and I'd be committing to the work and doing the things that people like usually do. And like I had a really crusty map in me of what it meant to live. And when my like reality wasn't matching the map, it was a really painful time for me because it was like I was trying to manipulate myself and force myself into a shape that it really wasn't me. And it was about that time that I started getting curious about people, like noticing that there were people that were constantly moving, and it was like what I saw was that it wasn't a problem for them. They was just like they just did their life that way. And I remember calling up um, someone who's now become my friend, Gabriella, and I just said, just tell me like how you do this thing, like moving thing. And it was so amazing for me to have this conversation with her because it was like the first time that I could get close to this necessity in me to realize that actually it's possible to become nomadic and to set my life up in such a way that I'm not I'm not trying to pretend I'm not something. And it was this relief in me. And I realized also that there was very little there wasn't there isn't much like research on how to do it. There's lots of like resources about like working from home or like becoming your own like doing distance work and stuff, but there's not really like this kind of way of living and this way of moving to me that was not actually, it wasn't about having a career for me, and it wasn't about like trying to, I wasn't like woofing, I wasn't backpacking, I wasn't like being a seasonal worker. It was like what I'm doing is I'm sourcing a a way of life that that only becomes possible when I stay close to my own necessity and to my own like authentic shape and to my own like inner voice. And then also this starts like becoming closer to like listening to the universe and being able to be like moved by the universe. And these kind of things became like more real to me and not really like an airy fairy idea. It's more become like actually that is the nuts and bolts of how I like navigate my life. And I want to like to me like it's this conversation that I'm having like I want to have with you in this being in this space is like really about that. It's like about how does how what does like being a nomad mean to you right now? And what is like some of the things that you find like challenging or interesting or like what is it that intrigues you about it? And then to like really like flesh out this sort of new terrain and start having these like new conversations about how do you like support a how do you hold space for like a village or a context or a culture where actually nomads are part of it and they're like a source uh, of of energy and a source of like they're feeding the movement of being a nomad is like feeding the evolution of the village and the context. And yeah, so I mean I just pause there for a minute and I want to hear if like what comes up, if anything is stirring in you and what sort of your interest is in this topic.
Yeah, I have recently. So I left my my home in June of last year, and I sold the house I had with my ex-partner in I think November or December or something last year. So I don't have a home anymore, and I don't have a right now a desire to have a home. So in a way, I'm a nomad, and it's challenging. I never wanted to be a nomad before. I haven't been a nomad, I think, ever. um, and yeah, one of the main reasons why I didn't want it was because I had a child. One of my having a child, well, until May of last year, having a child for me always meant, it's this beautiful thing where I've learned to take responsibility for more than just myself. So in one of my choices was that to provide a stable home for my child was really important for me, and that's what I did. And now that my daughter's gone, it's like, okay, what do I want, and how do I want it to look like? And the other thing that became clear to me, it's from being immersed in the PM village, it's and learning to be closer with people, to learning to share my inner world, learning to create more connection, more intimacy with people, is that I want to be closer with people.
Mm.
And this is more important to me than to have a stable home. And so I'm looking for, I guess, the people I want to live with. Or or what's the next thing that I want to take responsibility for that's outside of myself? For example, finding a place or founding a place where people live together and they also come and go, and it's like a place for connection, it's a place for research, it's a place for creation
Mhm.
that happens in connection. Mm. So it's where I'm at the moment. and I notice I struggle, and we can go there later.
Okay. I feel glad that you bring this piece around as you're learning. You notice, like, as you learn to share your inner world and learn how to actually create intimacy that feeds you, you notice like this natural tendency to want to live closer with people rather than just having your own house and doing like the normal way of living thing.
Yeah, it's like my priorities shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. And I've noticed this also in my explorations with like part of my nomadic life is not being fully conscious in that I felt like the universe has been like giving me a smack into the being a nomad. And the like one of the things that I've learned the most around living this way, which I don't think I could learn in any other way, is around like this exact thing that you say, Enos, is around learning to be with myself and also with other people and learning how like not just learning in my head, but like getting it into my cells and my nervous system and my all my bodies that it can be delightful and it is delightful and it's not a reason like there's it's like turning down the emergency siren in my survival strategy, which I picked up in like going through being raised in like modern culture of being in my family unit and going through school and then going into my career. It it like reorientated me to this possibility that actually I can be nourished by being close with other people and by letting myself be welcomed into other people's homes and to be like just being with other people. It doesn't have to be a big deal anymore. And for me, this is one of the most precious like lessons that I've got out of learning to live in this way. It's like learning to have my own voice and my own experience and my saying what I want and what I need, and also like allowing people to touch me, like people like energetically and emotionally to be touched by others and held by them.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say I don't think I call myself a nomad, but I left my home of many years, so I was very attached to having a home and a place to welcome people and a base, and that I guess that was a sign of, this was modern culture. I kind of had made it in a way. I had a home, and it was a beautiful home, and all that. So I left that a couple of years ago, and um, my partner and I, we were in a bus for a while. So there was a huge downsize, having lived where we were for something like 30 years.
Oh.
And since then, and I had a real anti of yeah, this like shift packing and unpacking. I really didn't like it. And that's softening. I'm in the process of moving again.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there's been several shifts from then, and each time it gets easier, the packing and unpacking. Um, and each time there's a certain amount of stuff that just gets diminished.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole load gets lighter. It would be a lot easier if I just had a backpack and a one suitcase, but it's not like that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I spent a good 6 months with putting a lot of energy into building our own home, and then the cost just escalated and it got to be ridiculous. So now we're about to move into a rental, and it's okay. Um, you know, it's okay. Um, when I say it's okay, there's a freedom in that, and a freedom in knowing that I'm only here for a year. Still seems a long time to some people, but for me, it's a short time, having been somewhere for a very long time.
Mm.
And so, yeah, the challenge is whenever I go somewhere, I want to make it into a home. And I want it to be a place to welcome people, where there's people coming through, coming and going. And I have learned, the what am I trying to say? Two things. A, being a bit moving myself, like staying with friends a lot when we would be going over the hill, staying with friends, and at first it was like, a real not wanting to overstay my welcome.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
can't be here too long, and then gradually realizing that this is actually a real joy to most people, and vice versa.
I mean, somebody else is joining. Keep going.
Yeah, that there's a lot of love, and it's okay to be in other people's homes, and for all of us to enjoy each other. I guess what you were saying, Enos, and you too, Millicent, about allowing yourself to be for somehow there's a connection and a love that is more present than when you're just passing through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the other thing I'm learning is the value of at Entree, the gold of the people who come and go, and the gifts that they bring. Everybody who comes.
You're noticing, like, even though you've been stable at Entree for some time, but noticing that people that are coming through who are more nomadic,
Yes,
they're also bringing a lot of gold and nourishment.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. For example, Renee was just telling me. I just had a phone call with her, and she was just telling me of that Lucas had arrived, and so anyway, that she had a listening space with Lucas, because she was talking about her dog, and she started crying, and Lucas said, "Can I hold a listening space for you?" And so that happened. That kind of thing just happens all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say, like, Gary, I can see that you've arrived, and you're welcome to come in, and the recording's happening, and just like bring yourself in. Yeah, we're going.
Welcome, Eduardo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just visiting here, and I'm listening to the conversation. I just joined.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Well, welcome. One of the things, a few things come up for me as you're speaking, Patricia, is about the way that this you sort of said this thing about having belongings and having baggage. And I noticed that in me, like, there is this a part of being nomadic, which is really helpful, is having not very many things, like actually only owning a backpack or my laptop, and being able to live out of that for months at a time.
Mm.
And then I noticed, like, the other part of it is the like learning to let go of emotional baggage and energetic baggage, and the kind of like more this inner structure that can like lend itself to either needing things in the outer world to be a certain way, or creating a more like elegant inner structure inside of myself, which is less reliant on needing the certainty of the outside world in order to have like this sort of stability thing inside of me.
Mm.
And so, yeah, these are also the kind of baggages like that have I noticed that have helped me to sort of go towards a more find more joy in being nomadic.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and one thing I would add is that the whole of society, it's kind of like more okay to be nomadic when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get older, it's like you're expected to have that nest, to have that security, and there's something terribly wrong if you're nomadic.
Wow.
And how does it live inside you, Patricia? Like, do you want to be? Does it feel, or does it feel like, do you have a should about that? I shouldn't be a nomad. How's it in you?
It lives in me that I guess that the main one is sometimes with family comes this, hey, that just the whole habit from family, that you're not settled, you haven't got your home, what happened, why did you not, all those things. It's difficult for people sometimes to understand why you would leave all that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
how it
and I
lives in me is sometimes mostly I'm okay with it, and now I think mostly I'm okay with it, and I have been affected. I have let that come into me, uh, and previously, but not now.
so was it also a learning for you in your journey?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there was something else I was going to say about something about it's gone. No matter.
Well, yeah, I have something also this that these sort of expectations, like this is a another form of baggage. And often like the majority of people often don't even get to know of life on the other side of expectations of others, like having society's expectations, parent expectations, friends' expectations. And what I feel glad about in hearing you speak, Patricia, is that somehow you've developed a way that you can shed their expectations and learn to navigate anyway into the kind of life you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's actually very freeing
Yeah.
in a way not to be so attached to my home, and especially lately. I mean, I had a home and I was busy creating another one, and I've had to let that go too. So there's something very freeing about and like, okay, it's sort of resetting time up. This is a gap time. I don't know what the next thing is, but there's something very freeing about not being tied to a home.
Mm-hmm. I notice it also takes this certain amount of, I don't know if it's like assholiness or like just like this inner grit in some way of like I noticed I also found my box really found it hard to go into people's homes and sort of stay there and not have the leaving date yet. Like this was a
Yeah,
real liquid state for me. And to learn
yeah,
to relax into that and trust that, okay, the next piece will come. And I get there is something in me, like in my gremlin maybe, that has this sort of, well, whatever kind ofness. Like this kind of capacity to be like, I don't like I'm just going to do this anyway. Like I don't care. And and I think like this gave me like some sort of like a foothold into like starting to create a different um something other than my survival strategy. Was like even if I'm going to be like a pain in the ass for a bit, I'm just going to be that because I need something else. Yeah. And Jennifer, I'd love to hear you. What it is that you're cooking.
Yeah. Um, It's hard to even like so I have some experience nomading for I think I first launched something like 2002, first into a car and then into a van, and not necessarily full time. Like there's so many chapters in there, it's hard to name them. There's time in Europe. Vera and I did the same introduction experience week at Findhorn that was something like 2010 or so. I have family in England. Uh, I've been kind of on some sort of a quest. So my nomading has had, like I say, all these different chapters, but a quest to find like-minded people that see a bigger picture, that see that what's not working. I've been trying to collect community and find a place to live. And the last 8 years, I have landed. So things that have been difficult is gas, flying. Like I don't enjoy the mechanical, wasteful lifestyle that goes with, in America, it seems idolized to like drive a house around
Hmm.
and and pay lots of money to park it in different places and plug in and put up your big screen TV. And that's not at all where for me, it's been a utilitarian. I've got a little tiny van. So my van's been likened to Mary Poppins carpet bag. So the idea of being very minimal is very attractive. I've done a suitcase around and the backpacking thing, and I've done woofing things, and there's been all sorts of chapters, and it's gotten very tiring, so much traveling. And it's grown me a lot. And I yearn for living with plants. I think I'm giving you a very non-linear, trying to throw out what's up for me on this subject. And I'm preparing to launch into the next chapter, and I really have no idea of what it is. But I've had a lot of practice in these years of not having any idea and being able to stand up to the questions of what are you doing next.
Mm.
And typically, I've always had a clear plan. In this moment, I really don't.
Hmm.
And I'm very excited I'm new in possibility management. I just did an online expand the box. So I'm new in the languaging.
Hmm.
I've been stalking a lot of healing work and, congruent things in my various chapters. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of threads I'm trying to pull out all at once, and I'm sure I haven't got them all, but
Yeah.
that,
Well, it's a big terrain. And
yeah, I feel like I'm throwing spaghetti against the wall. So that's there it is for now.
I mean, Ines, you sort of like opened this door earlier, and I think this is like a great time to go there. But it's really like these things like the challenges or the struggles. And Jennifer, you mentioned a few things. I I notice like one of the things that I find frustrating is when people ask me where I'm from or or where I live or where I'm going. And like these are really uninteresting questions for me. I've discovered.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I'd love to hear like some of the things you're finding challenging and also some of the things that you've like ways that you've discovered um to yeah get over challenges or like things that you've discovered in the tightness of being nomadic.
I think there's two things that that I've come up with to say to people with the where are you going questions. And they're both poems. One's a longer poem, but uh, But the short poem, John O'Donohue's unfinished poem, is I would love to live as a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding.
Touches me.
And the other thing I speak about is like following a trail of breadcrumbs, and I don't know where they go around the corner, but as long as I know the next breadcrumb, I'm good. Or I know that will be an will be a next breadcrumb. So that's how I get people to back off on the real answer.
Yeah, thank you. One of the things in this sort of pain of these questions, I started to develop this list, and I don't know where it is right now, but these list of more useful questions to ask a nomad. And
That's a great idea.
just remembered that now. So.
Yeah. Well, my biggest challenge is probably stuff.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah, the baggage.
Okay.
You know, we're not light, and part of that not being light is so I'm not really a nomad, but you know, there's been a lot of shifts in 2 years compared to what used to be, and part of the not being light is because wherever I go, I want to make a home, and I want it to be a place where there's bedding and there's enough dishes and there's enough this for others to stay and pass through. So stuff is a bit of a thing still, and the energy it takes to move stuff again when you've got a bit of stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, Alan.
Hello, Ellen.
Alan, I feel glad that you're here because for me, you're one of these people that has this rock in the ground for many nomads.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
And I'd love to hear I'd love to hear your experience of nomads and what it is that, yeah, just that actually.
Before we go there, I would love to kind of finish this section around challenges.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. And get some pointers from you, maybe. So I made the list.
Great.
So in terms of baggage, and it's for me, it's not really baggage, but I have belongings that I don't want to not have. And partially it's my tools because I love to make stuff, and I miss my musical instruments. There's also something I would never want to give away. There's some that I like apart from my piano, which I sold, but I don't want to just not have that available. It's important to me. And it's okay for a time not to have it, but generally, like I notice I miss it. A big thing for me, and it's slowly changing, was that I don't want to be a burden on anyone, and I get that it is emotional baggage, and in that I then started to, so how can I be useful so that I'm wanted? And Alan's been really great at teaching me more about that. It's not about that. You know, I do it because I want to, and also I know that there is a give and take. And I've hosted nomads and I've hosted woofers, and I have to say I've struggled when there was a nomad staying, and I'm out working to pay for the place where they're living, and then they don't contribute anything, or they need to be asked for everything. It's like they don't offer anything. It's like what is this? You know, like so I know.
Yeah. And I sense in there's some important distinction around like a couch surfer or and a nomad, like an Archan Nomad. Like there is a different, like there's an energetic difference I sense in what you're saying there.
I would love to hear more from other people about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know the other side of what it's like when I'm hosting someone, like as me as staying with people is like I'm maybe overly concerned right now with, how much can I contribute, what can I do? And also I like to do it, but there's also a lot of emphasis on that.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I want to add is that I'm also in a place where, because I do healing work, and which means, for example, I need a treatment table, and that like I need some stuff for that. And yes, I can drive that around in a car. And actually, to be really to really bring my gifts, it would mean staying in a place where I can have a space and people know I'm there, and then they come and they can refer, and it's about that as well, like having a base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm noticing that I'm scared of being a nomad, because then that would mean of not having that, and it's also causing pain if I don't have that, if I don't do my healing,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm focused on traveling and I'm focused on making sure I have a next place, and how long am I going to stay there, and how's it all going to work. Yeah, these are my challenges. I'd love to hear any pointers on it.
Thank you, Ines. One of the things comes up for me as I hear you is like connected to this like distinction I'm like sensing into around like learning, to me, like becoming like nomadic, like effectively, to me is really about learning how to navigate reality. And there's so many skills and tools that are are needed to learn how to navigate reality, because like reality is this point at which like my being touches the universe, and a lot happens there. There's sensations and there's a lot going on there. And what I discovered was like a lot of the thoughtware and survival strategies and systems and ways of like navigating the world that I inherited through modern culture are set up so that I don't have to be in contact with reality. So, meaning I don't have to feel my fear, and like things sort of like distractions handle my fear for me, or like the linear life plan handles it for me, or like convenience handles it for me. And it's like this fake safety. And like a few of the things about like learning to navigate reality is like really learning how to have conversations with people in reality as well. And these are like they can be really ecstatic actually, because so often people are used to not having conversations in reality. Like they're used to having, like a box conversation or a gremlin relationship or being on autopilot with each other. And this skill of staying in the unknown and staying in contact with somebody and really like hearing them and letting myself be heard, it's like in a way it's like an antidote to the emotional fear or like worry around like, am I okay in this house, or like do they really want me here, or something like that. And this takes practice. Like it's such a muscle in me, and I noticed that it's yeah, it's a practice. And okay, here's another opportunity for me to practice coming into contact with this person in reality.
I like that. And is there I was like, oh my, how do you do that? Like, how can I practice this? What is like a first step?
Well, we could practice it now if you wanted, Ines. Would you? be willing to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like fear is the first feeling that comes up, and so it's like just like center yourself, to clear your grounding cord, to clear your bubble, and actually just notice what feeling is most on top, like what's most alive right now.
For me, it's joy.
Yeah, great. Like joy is like sometimes I'm noticing it's the hardest one to navigate. So just stay with it. You feel glad and just let it expand.
I feel joy because I like the points when I notice, oh, there's something that I want to learn, and I have an opportunity here to learn something. Like totally yay. So
Cool. And see if you can like let it be even bigger. Like let it's not like it needs to like get big and loud, but it's like just give it more space. Notice if another feeling comes.
yeah, notice this fear, and the fear is asking, well, will I learn something? Will I, or is it too complicated? I'm not gonna get it.
Okay.
Like that.
So these are like sort of your ways that your feelings are going to out to try and get something that's out of you. But see if you can like let your fear like spread wider and really find out what it's about. I feel scared without needing to get anywhere.
I feel scared that the skill of really being with people and making what do you call connection and reality um, is elusive. Like sometimes I seem to be able to, sometimes I'm not.
And see if your fear can scan this particular constellation and which person does your fear have that you have like something for. Like there's something for you with that person. Just let your fear show you.
What comes as you, Ellen?
I'm here.
You are here.
Cool. Yeah. So just turn to Ellen and just let your fear. You don't have to know what it is right now. Just like let it. Yeah.
um, I'm scared that a lot of
You can make
interactions
eye contact. See if you can. Yeah.
I'm scared that a lot of the interactions are like middle world stuff, and I'm missing connecting more deeply with both you and Bruce. And I'm scared about Noah in the house and having to keep that a secret or something, like having to be different around him so that he's okay. And
And stay in contact with Alan, Enos. Like, don't, yeah.
And I'm
just
scared that it's like you have a certain convention in the house, a certain way of doing things, and how you are with each other all the time. And I notice that, and I feel sad about that. And and then sometimes I feel joy about that too. It's not just one thing, but
And check if
It's
you're,
really sad that
yeah.
it's not being talked about.
And Ines, check if your fear has any information about what it is you want to, where you want to go with Alan, or where you want to create. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be something really small. It could be something like, so I want to talk with you about this later, or something like that.
Well, actually, I just want to share with you that this is what's happening inside me, and I want, I'd love to talk about it, but at the same time, I don't know if you want that. So I guess, do you want that?
I was just going to say, can you ask me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Would you want to talk about these things?
yeah, yes. And I feel fear sometimes. What is it? I feel fear.
Just keep it in the small now, Ellen. So not the sometimes. Yeah, cool.
I don't want to just talk about it. I want to, yeah, I want to connect about it.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. Sort of more, it's obviously something that that is happening here. And I hear that it has to do with Noah as well. That does something with you, that creates fear, or if, yeah, there's some flavor of fear there.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
And I just realized, because for you nomads out there, you must have come across that when you stay with people and you notice that, because like what I see in this house is just also reminds me of what I know from growing up. It's like there's certain ways of how people are with each other that have like developed, have been there for a long time, and you see stuff and I feel sad about it,
Mm-hmm.
or I feel angry about it. I feel stuff about it. What do I do with that?
Yeah, go Ines. Like what I'm seeing in like what you're bringing, and Patricia, you sort of brought this too, is that you noticed like when nomads are coming through your space, Patricia, that they were bringing actually a richness to your culture. That they could hold spaces, they could put things on the table, they could bring proposals that you couldn't see. And like this is a form of non-material value exchange, which becomes possible once you've gone through enough like transformation and like um, let go of enough baggage. And it's like your value starts becoming what you are not. So you are not reactive in the ways most people are. You are not committed to staying in one place like a lot of people are. You are not, tied into a career and a mortgage and like these kind of things. And Ines, like what I sense is happening for you, like one of the pains is that you're developing these sensitivities to what you might have actually not have seen before because you just lived in it. But now that you've like evolved to a certain like in a certain way, these things that you're noticing are now you're noticing they're optional. Like they don't it doesn't have to be that way in the place that you're staying at the moment, which is Alan's.
I think I've seen it even as a child, but then, you as a child, you can't really do anything with the, say, dysfunction or stuff that happens.
Mm-hmm.
You cope, and then
I
you
will you
leave,
say I?
right? And then then I left, and I decided to do something different
Mm-hmm.
and learn some other skills and stuff like that. And now I'm a visitor in people's homes. And the
Mm-hmm.
question I have, like, okay, some people would want what I see, and others wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
Yeah.
more useful thing, yeah, I just say is Like some people will and some people won't, but it's like, is right here the woman that you're staying with, is it useful to you, Alan, that Enos puts this on the table and opens a space for it to be navigated? You can just ask her.
So for me, useful.
Or interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it interesting? That's right.
Well, yeah. Yeah. It's a bit like you see something else because you have your eyes and I'm living here with my whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would want that.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is a non-valuable, non-material value that you can only bring because you have the ability to speak it or to bring it
Yeah, cool.
and to feel it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I want to say something because um, it is there's two things here I'm getting. One is when you're a visitor in somebody's house,
Yeah.
but the same thing happens when you are living with other people, and the other people have their family unit which operates in a certain way, their family constellation, whatever you want to call it. And I think what I'm seeing is this is just so it's like, yeah, I feel like I felt excited because there's such gold in just that interaction that you've just had with Ellen.
Mhm.
People don't usually go there, and you did, Enos, and Ellen said yes. She might have some fear, but she said yes, and this is just such gold because we've all been brought up in a society where we live a certain way, and there's all these nuances that happen with our partner and our children, and we don't see them, but other people come in and they see them, and this is such gold. And my learning has been, and I mean, I've had this learning with Ellen and Bruce when Renee and I have been staying there too, sometimes bringing up things that are pretty bloody scary, and then we've had some fantastic connections as a result.
Mhm.
Yeah, and certainly where I'm living now, and it's not always welcome.
Like
It's not
putting
always
stuff on the
welcome.
table is not always welcome.
No, putting stuff on the table is not always welcome, and my learning is to respect that, but 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 keep not come through with the fullness of my truth rather than watering it down and adapting.
Yes, Patricia.
And it's constant learning. It's like, okay, if someone doesn't want to hear it, but you know I still say it.
Mm-hmm.
I still say it. No, that's not quite right, but it's sort of in between. Sometimes someone doesn't want to hear it; they might want to hear it another time, and sometimes things. Nobody else can say these things except the people who like you with Ellen. And when I was living in a home, nobody else could say this except the odd friend who came and had the courage to say what it is that they witnessed,
Yeah.
because we are blind to it.
Yeah. And I mean, imagine Patricia, or like imagine everyone imagine this, if like it was actually incredibly normal that there was a huge population of people that were nomadic and coming through everybody's homes
Yeah.
and creating this transformation in these kind of stagnant home boxes and holding space
Yes.
for dangerous conversations, holding space for vulnerability, holding space for clarity. And
Mm-hmm.
like I've sensed this is the kind of direction that's happening already in the world. This momentum is growing where people are far more fluid and are far more nomadic, and
Yeah.
possibility it's a lot closer to people's the possibility of becoming nomadic, and
Yeah.
and I sense there's this wealth in learning. Actually, a nomad is a skilled professional at doing what they do, and they're providing a massive service to stay in your home.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well said. Yeah, I like that, Millicent. That's right. Yeah. And so back to that thing of that welcoming and that through draft is so important, I think, in any home. But the majority of people don't have that. Well, they might have it, but they don't have it. They don't have it in terms of the courage it takes to really say, to be authentic and say what you see.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that comes up for me is like developing this really intimate relationship with Echo. And are you all familiar with that acronym, the Earth Coincidence Control Officer? And so, I mean, it doesn't so much matter what you call it, but it's like your personal relationship with this thing that's bigger than you, that has like a bigger idea of how things go.
Mm.
And then like when you can start to like somehow build a relationship with this thing, it becomes clearer what your job is in each moment. And at times your job is to put really hard things on the table. And sometimes, like I've discovered my job like over the last couple of months has really been to be to not to be a presence, to actually not try and change anything. So it's like to be with. So whoever I'm with, I just be with them. And this is also like an incredibly valuable thing to have and to offer, is this space inside of myself where I don't have I need to get anywhere. I don't need to get anywhere in myself. I don't need the other person to get anywhere in themselves. And it's like, yeah, to also name that this is a valuable thing. Mm. It's not like you always have to be having these sort of dangerous conversations.
Mm. The last thing I want to say, and I want to hear what you think from you, Jennifer, and more from you, Ellen. But
Mhm.
it's something like the family box, be it the family box or the relationship box, I think is one of the hardest and the biggest
Mm.
that to interferes the wrong word, but to go there with 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 what you may notice
Mhm.
or see,
Mhm.
and patriarchy is you don't go there,
Yeah,
especially if you're a visitor.
yeah. And you know, one of the things I've discovered in in these box structures is that they have a purpose. Like whether it's someone's personal box or whether it's a family box, and it's a really valid purpose. Like the box is really protecting something incredibly precious.
Yes.
And it's like learning to be sensitive to like the kind of sacredness with that it's protecting, and be have this sort of reverence to witness what I witness and be with what I witness.
Hmm.
Yeah, mostly at the center, it's love. It's pure love.
Yeah.
What's happening in you, Ellen?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to reflect on my experience now with you, Ines. Is been such a journey of connecting and trying to find respect each other's boundaries somewhere and navigating that when you need space, or yeah, this how to get close or not close, or yeah, this relating is so new every day. We don't have a big register of habits, so every interaction every day is new for me with you. Well, my interaction with Bruce we have a lot of baggage, a lot of history, a lot of habits, and they may be not all really serving us in our evolution, but this is there. And I'm so enjoying having this possibility in the house to discover every day or every moment when I come home from, this evening when you said, do you want me to come or stay? And I can just check in, and it comes from I felt really loved in that moment and seen for what I want to achieve. And your offer was just so loving for me in that moment to have that. You come along and it's done in no time, and your contribution is it comes from a place of I can do it easily, but it means a lot to me. And therefore I feel loved in a way. So it's a different form of a hug, or a different form of I see you, I'm here on your team. So practical. So in the moment, just like go. And and when I ask you, you should have dinner, it comes from a place, I want to do something good for you as well, because I care about you. And I hear you, that's not my business. You will care for yourself. So, it's just so simple and so in the moment of, okay, here's a boundary. How else can I express my love to you somehow? And it's this constant in and out, or this exploration of getting to know and weaving. And the longer we are together and we are around each other and with each other, the closer it gets. What is your sadness about?
I just realized that for me, the fact that you house me and feed me is a form of love. And I have not ever, it's totally hitting me sideways that you, on top of that, want to express love towards me in other ways for stuff I do. Right? It's not even part of my, that's a thing. It's like I'm not used to that, and I feel sad about that. Because I want to love you in so many different ways, and in that it's not part of my box that other people want to do the same thing. It's still not there. I feel sad about that. Yes.
It touches me, Ines and Ellen, because this exchange that you're creating right now is this is the weave of the web that makes nomadic life possible. You're doing it, and it requires this certain willingness to go liquid. I appreciate witnessing the way that your gentle love towards each other is creating that liquidness.
My impulse to come here is not because I'm nomadic. I'm more a place where nomadic people can land. So I'm not sure if I'm actually on the right place here, but there is something where nomads need to land and want to land possibly, and want to have an experience. And I love to be a place where that can happen.
Will you say like
It
why?
is a form of
Yeah.
intimacy.
Oh.
It's a form of intimacy that, for me, it's not only between you and me. It's sort of the weaving of um and practicing of people being in each other's space, so to speak, and not in each other's space.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is sometimes really challenging when I get triggered, or if stuff is going on, and I'm aggravated. I'm not always soft and lovely and lovey-dovey. I'm sometimes really in a tiz as well, and seeing the purity of where you are at and where I'm at, and kind of dancing this dance of how do we not like the gremlin come in and say, oh fuck you, or I'm off, I'm out of here, or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
just being with is so, it's such a gift. Me, when you are with me, or when I hopefully can give you a sense of being with you, with what is happening in your world inside you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, Alan, I sense like there is a way that you hold a certain context that makes this offer possible, and it makes it possible that quite a large number of people come through your house, through your home. And I wonder if you're willing to sort of,
What they do.
yeah, are you willing to sort of like show or say something about that, about your kind of context, or I mean, another word for it is worldview, or
Yeah. I believe if all people, or if a lot more people would live in this context of I'm there for you and you are there for me, and how can we create intimacy, living, creation, work, middle work stuff, how can we make it happen together? Then the world would be so easy, be so joyful, and so I don't know, easy comes to my mind. This I mean, nature provides so much. Whatever grows on one tree, an apple tree, I can't even eat all the apples on one tree in a whole year. Fuck that. You know, I'm more than happy to share that with whoever, and it's in so many ways. And yeah, I it feeds my heart. Makes my heart sing. And I don't know where I've got it from, but it's something that makes my heart sing.
I sense this is a place to land this space. It's a really beautiful conclusion. And I actually want to hear one more time, Jennifer, the short poem that you had to bring from John Donahue. Is that what you say?
John O'Donohue.
John, yeah.
And it's called Unfinished Poem. That's the name that I found for it. And the poem is, I would love to live as a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding.
Thank you. Something really accurate about that in my system. And I really like the sensation I'm getting is like this is the kind of conversation that's like ongoing, and I want there to be more, and then more like spaces to share research between nomads and to unfold this kind of context of how does it go. And I really appreciate each of your presences here. I found it a really rich exploration.
For letting me join when I did.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Will you create some group or something for us to continue? Like what are the next steps?
yes, well, will you create a group, Jennifer, for the
I
Nomad?
could,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Call them.
So a Telegram group, and I'll find you and will and because I have your and Inez's emails, I think, and
Yeah,
so does that work for everyone?
yeah, go. And I would say, like, to also call in other people that might be interested in carrying on this research as well. So make it
Yes,
visible
for
that
sure.
that's what you're creating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can put
I'm
it in
not
the
sure about me, Jennifer. I'm not sure whether I will join or not. But invite me and I'll figure it out then.
Okay. Yeah, go.
Yes, and you can come and go. That's the nature of nomading.
Yeah.
Thank you. And please
Thank you.
let me know if you have any resistance to this being shared as a recording. You can email me or message me. And yeah, thank you all.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Millicent.
Thank
Yeah, thank you, Millicent.
you. Most welcome.